Maz at Triple C Creations. Hey, Maz, guess what? You'll never guess. We are in the shop working on, can you guess? I'm pretty sure you can guess. We seem to be steady on this thing. The S10 street rod. My gonna upgrade the fuel system later on, but right now a mechanical fuel pump crapped out, so we got a brand new one here. But I want to paint her up a little bit here so it doesn't look so crappy and everything. And the bottom part doesn't rust up. So let's get at her and see if we can paint this up and then bolt up a few things here and see where we get tonight. So yeah, just before we get started on the S10 street rod, if you're new to the channel, I figured we'd do a little recap of what we've been with this S10 and a little bit of its history. So this is what she looked like when I first got it. Then we ripped the whole fin end apart, pulled the 4-cylinder out of it. The engine's out now. Then we slipped in and wedged in a 6-cylinder 250 Chevy 6-cylinder with a 2-speed power glide. I wanted to be a little different. Then I found some old fenders from an old International 1-ton. Cut them right down, try to make them fit. You can see the battery in its great place trying to crank the engine over. Then I sliced the corners of the hood so we could get a little different style. Filled her in, stitched it all up, get it ready for body work eventually one day. Mocking up a headlight, filling up the fender some more. Little side view there, another side view. We got the mighty headlights on there. Then we stripped the box off of it. And I got a bunch of sheet metal and built a box from scratch. One of the sides there, another side, a little bit of a tube framing. See, that's mounted on the truck. Made a tailgate, cut this tailgate up in the middle, and sliced it and narrowed it. Then we did a little bit here where the fender is starting to make some shape, a little bit of look to it. So around the back here, what do we got going on? So we had, this is where I want to put the taillights. So that is the hood ornament I've mentioned in the past off a 69, 70 Chevy half-tons. Took the lens out, put a red taillight lens in, put an LED in it. So now that it does brake lights, turn signals. And what else we got going on here? What else? Oh yes, we have steps on the side. There'll be some more aluminum checkered stuff added to that. We've got a little key lock on it, all meshed up to it. Open her up, and there's the gas cap. Same thing on the passenger side, and I believe I'm going to put a washer fluid tank in there. This is the start of the intake and exhaust manifold. Replace the factory one. That is actually a chunk of frame rail that I dremelled out. Bunch of 3-inch exhaust system. Took that, shaped it, started mocking that all up. That's the intake. This is the exhaust in the middle. There's where the first mock up with the twin carbs. Well, this is where we try to get her to fire up. Clean her up. A little more cleaning up. Looks a little more like an engine now. Now we're gonna mock up the hood. I wanted to put these scoops because I needed the air in there, but also I needed clearance for the turbo. So cut those up, put those in. This is the tailpipes. Could be in the back bumper. That's where we started painting up the base coat. Had a primer. Now this is the black coat underneath, undercoat. And then got the purple. It's going to be the color of the whole truck. Let's see here. This is where we are at now. So here we are mocking up our overflow tank for our turbo system. And oh yes, this is where we discovered after we got it all running. Surprise, surprise. We ended up giving her a wound up and she blew smoke. And then we had to pull the head off because we figured we had a head gasket gone on it. Put it all back together. And what we got here, the intercooler and everything back on. And that is where we're sitting at now. New fuel pump's in, exhaust is all hooked up, and we're up to speed now. So yeah, figured I'd just give you a bit of a history run on this truck. If you're new to the channel, kind of get you up to date, and we're gonna see what we can do with it. And hopefully sometime this week, the rest of my parts will come in. I should be able to plumb the fuel line, and we'll get her going. So we got some more done tonight. Got everything's all hooked up here. We're just gonna put the coolant in. But I do want to get that fuel. See, I got the new fuel pump in there. So I'm gonna plumb new lines to that. From that up to the carbs, I'm gonna run around the back because I want to get away from the turbo. I still need to make a heat shield in here between the carb and the fuel lines and the turbo, so I can make a heat shield there. I'm gonna put an exhaust wrap or heat shield or both on the downpipe, so I can get this all done here. The wiring stuff, I'll do that later on. So, but when I want to get her fired up, so we got the fuel lines, run that over, and then I got to go back here and I got to do some housekeeping here. And I have to clean up all this stuff that's gathered up in the back of the truck, because believe it or not, there is, oh jeepers, there's too much stuff back here. There's a fuel tank there. Oop. Oop, that wasn't supposed to fall. It's got a fuel tank here, so I got lines and everything. I'm gonna use some of the factory lines. I got to plumb it underneath, and then I can put some gas in the actual tank and get it primed up and get it to run off the fuel tank, so I can stop using these little jerry cans on the side. Clean all this stuff out from underneath here. It's been way too long. And then I can get it running again and see if I can get it to go right. And then I'll do that, and then we get this all cleaned up. And then we can get all this cleaned up and get all that stuff off. And then we can go all the way back here and we can start getting this frame cleaned up and get it painted so we can get ready to put the box back on, or get it ready for that. Still got to do all the priming here. I still got to do some body work, rockers, cab corners here, finish up all this stuff. But first thing I'm going to do is I want to get it mechanically running decent. We'll see about this homemade air conditioning system too, but if we can just get it running, that'd be awesome. So I got the fuel line. I'll be picking it up tomorrow. It's in. So then I can plumb all the fuel lines in. And then maybe tomorrow night, things go right. Me and all you guys out there, wherever you are, will actually get to hear this thing fire up again. And maybe this time it won't smoke and she'll run clean and we can get the carbs all set up. And oh yes, I also too, I got some hose and a blow-off valve, so I can start plumbing this turbo up into the intercoolers and flip her all the way back and hook it to the carbs, and then we can actually tune it with the turbo running. That would be awesome. And then I still got to find an air filter. I do not know quite yet what I'm going to use for an air filter in this thing. It's going to be a fairly short, good size one. And yeah, once we get it running good, then we can move on to the body work, and then hopefully a few more months here, it's going to start warming up finally. And yeah, we can go for a rip in this thing. And then you guys can come along and we'll just give her. So that's it for tonight. I'm shutting her down. And yeah, so If you can, subscribe. That'd be awesome. Be wicked. Hit the bell icon if you're new to the channel. It'll notify you on any uploads. Still trying to do 1 or 2 uploads a week. Sometimes maybe more. And yeah. So this is Maz, and into the next video. Bye.